you'll be delighted to know that I have decided not really to do any more of these videos, at least for another month, okay? Because I am, well, there's a few things. On the face of it, I'm well, but I know I'm not well. I'm not throwing my toys out with the pram, but you might remember the original kind of plan was to do 100 of these. And we started bang on 6 months ago, January the 2nd. So this is a good cut-off point. We went over 100 episodes. I think it was 139, I counted. But who's counting? All very low reach stuff. That's not unusual, though. I mean, people plod on. Sometimes we got the spike here and there, especially there about a week or two ago when I went kind of all zen, which is funny because that was the episode my wife really didn't like. But yeah, it was always a discipline anyway. And where there were one or two gathered in my name, not that I'm making comparisons, I was happy to perform. But I'm not well in myself. There's lots to be done on the health front and the professional front. I mean, I am 5 years, 5 months, I just checked it, since a very serious life-changing operation. And part of my recovery is to lose a lot of weight. And I did lose some. And I never went back to as bad as I was. But I'm nowhere near where I should be in the condition. Did I ever show you my scar? Can you see my scar? You probably can't. That's just on my arm. And I've got one the whole length of my leg, so you can kind of guess what happened to me. So I don't want to dwell on it anyway, because you can go off your fucking head if you live your life like that. But I'm just kind of going, no, big freaking fat neck, big fat stomach. It can't. You know, why kill yourself through neglect? So that's number one. Voiceover wise, I've been very busy this year. Now there is, I suppose, with silly season, a little bit of a lull just now. But if I had my act together properly, there would be a continuous flow or a momentum of business. There is, but there isn't. There could be more, is all I'm saying. But I have taken quite a few of you to my heart. So, I mean, I love you all, Tara, Jerry, Susan, Nigel, you know. And it's been nice, kind of. I know I've connected with you guys on some level, which is great. And of course, contact me. This much is true at protonmail.com if you just want to chat or whatever. And as I said, Jesus, it's not the biggest deal in the world, is it? Hey, me disappearing. So, not that I'm looking for fishing for compliments or anything like that. But no, I've decided there's stuff I just want to do, and a lot of it, you know, it's not even to do with you know, building the business and all that. Like, you know, I turned 61 recently, so I'm realistic, you know. Although there's times, God, I feel really good. Now I know some of you are laughing and it kind of sounds 61 isn't anything these days, but you know, but there are mornings I feel really good. But I could, you know, I could feel better. You know, if I'm feeling really good now in this state, what could I do if I put my mind to it? You know, I do my walking and stuff, but it's nothing. I've got to be more consistent. And it's also about just taking time out for some stuff. Now, you might find this woo-woo and corny, but here's a couple of the things, just a few of the things I've listed that I want to do. Well, first thing is get some new reading glasses. They're due on Saturday. The black ones instead of these frickin' things. Here. It's not exactly Lord Byron, but walk bare feet on the beach. Within 15 minutes of where I'm sitting is a beach. And I'm going to go down with a little bag. Now, I walk that beach every so often. I'm going to go down and change and take off my socks, and I'm going to feel the old sand between my toes. And if you have been following me recently, I haven't done it in a few days, but I've been bathing my feet in a kind of a seaweed mix, and I found that very therapeutic and a kind of a nice end of the day thing to do. Use rainwater for plants. We had a guest staying over at the weekend. He's very successful when it comes to green finger stuff, so he recommended that, and I've already employed that. So all my plants now, we gathered the rainwater. God, you're saying this is sad, but anyway, yeah, if it makes a difference to the plants, great. In fact, we had some decorating done only yesterday. We got the kitchen done all over again, so we've guests coming down again this weekend. So that'll be nice. A change is as good as a rest. And that'll be temptation. There will be crisps and there will be all kinds of everything there. But as I demonstrated recently at some weddings, I can stay off the drink when I want, and I'm damn sure if I put my mind to it, I can stay off the freaking junk food that's going to be there. I used to have this little 8-minute exercise with this lovely English lady, and I did put a link on one of the videos to it. Natalie, I'm trying to remember her name, but it's just a little 8-minute workout. That's good for cardio and all that, so I'm going to reinstigate that. Sit outside at night. We've a postage stamp garden, but we also have one of these little fire pits. And when I was over in the States, I had friends over in the States, and I'd go over to the West Coast, and we'd sit out at night at the fire pit. Hey, Mark, look at the stars, the desert stars. And the fire pit was great. So we have one outside. It's not an open top one, though. It's kind of, you open a door and anyway. So I would just want to do that and be alone with my thoughts. And I have been, generally I do my 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day, if not more. But you know what? I can rev that up, and I can combine it with a podcast, a good podcast as well. I want to touch on that. This social media crap, we need to talk about it and hold that thought. So I can do, I reckon I can do 18,000 to 20,000 steps a day. I just can. It's the area I live in. It's the nature of the work I do. I can fuck off anytime I want, if I'm honest with you. So I want to increase those steps again with a healthy weight and just exercise in mind. Yes, the social media. If you were listening last time, I culled my email. Did I tell you about that? I literally took out 21,000 messages in my inbox, and as much in all kinds of other categories on my email, and cleaned them down. And now I can just see promotions, updates, and inbox. And I can kill them or cure them on the spot. In other words, I can delete now without kind of going through a mishmash. So bottom line is I'm getting to what's important. And I would say the same if you can, and I really have cut down on it, but social media, things like TikTok and X. It's hard not to say Twitter, isn't it? But I'm trying. I noticed an awful lot of kind of violent content was coming into my Twitter feed or X feed. Just things like people getting knocked down by cars, pedophiles getting entrapped, that kind of, the vigilantes sort them out. And I'm kind of going, there's no benefit to me. And it's not that I spent hours watching it, but you couldn't unsee it, is the point I'm making. I made it my business to go into my feed, and any of that stuff that popped up, A, I didn't watch it, and B, I went to block it. And believe it or not, I've cultivated my feed. It's a lot more benign than it was. I don't need a hit of dopamine, especially at somebody's expense. I think people vicariously live through some of that stuff, where they get their jollies by watching people getting beaten up or whatever it is. But even all the fighting over migrants and trans and vaccines and Jesus Christ, I won't go there again. Yeah, there has been a horrendous thing worldwide committed on the populations. That's all you're going to hear from me on it, and it's not even it's not even open to debate anymore. It always stank. and it's coming out now in droves. That can upset me. And I've just said, well, there's fuck all I can do about it. So you have to just live what you have and start enjoying it while you have it. Because as I was saying in a more recent broadcast, it can all be pulled from under you, as we saw with the lockdowns, which were a horrendous failure, by the way, on all accounts now, well established as being. But see the way it's affected. So I'm trying to go away and take care of the family and me. And everyone else can do what everybody else does, right? Intermittent fasting, had it going for a while. It was great. It was a great discipline, if nothing else. If I can combine that, I haven't got his book here. Probably I might look at the keto diet, because poor old Michael Mosley. I telling you I was away on holidays and I was reading this book, and I tuned into news one day and he was missing, and he subsequently, as you know, he died on a Greek hillside. Sad. And you know, I'm sure he made a few bob out of it, but he was trying to help people. And intermittent fasting is a big part of that. Weights, don't get me wrong again. I'm not going to gyms or anything. I have some arm weights and stuff. That's the one thing that if you don't, as you get older, if you don't use it, you will lose it. So I have some wrist stuff as well, and some weights, which I won't bother showing you. And I'm talking about a couple of barbells here, there, and just to get a bit of tone back. And as I said, you will lose muscle if you don't just work it. Even like you're talking a few minutes a day. Now, here's a good one. And you know what? I've done this, and of course I've gone all draconian. But tea and coffee, no wonder I have the stomach I have. Because it's like I'm like just a vat. I'm like a receptacle for tea and coffee. Jeepers. And like, even when I look at the coffee I drink, it's that instant stuff. It's shite. It can't be doing, it's like acidic. Is it any wonder I got blocked up in the way I got blocked up? Putting God knows what in. Why? Because it gives you a quick hit. Maybe, 1 in the morning is good. Gets you up. Gives you that little shot. But when you're pouring 5, 6, 7, 8 of these things in your system, bad news. Meditation. Have been doing a bit of that anyway. It's nice to just sit down. I told you all about my green chair, which you can't see because all these pillows, I have professional soundproofing, but I often bolster it with pillows. So I'm after removing all these. So you can't see my green chair is what I'm saying. I did this today. Sit and listen to vinyl. See, there's a vinyl player here behind me. Which way is it, Mark? It's that way. There it is, there. So my darling daughter, who's now in New York, she got me this David Bowie album. And, it's really funny the way the universe works. Because today I sat down, I listened to 3 tracks off that album, which is Changes by David Bowie. So Diamond Dogs, Fame, and Rebel Rebel. Of Diamond Dogs, Rebel Rebel, and Fame. Let's just be precise about the order. And I was thinking about her, and I make her little videos, very quick ones on my phone, just to say, look after yourself, mind yourself, and I'm happy with whatever else you're doing over in New York. Just be careful. All the stuff that mammies and daddies do. But before I sent my video, she sent me a little video say, I was at a club last night, Dad, and guess what I was listening to? And see a little video, and all you could see is her feet walking, and you could hear the frickin' noise of this club she was in. But it was playing, some of you will remember this, Judas Priest, Breaking the Law. It's on, you'll see it on YouTube if you want. It's a really cheesy old video. And when they were little girls, now this will show you the kind of upbringing I gave them, but they'd be like 6 and 8 maybe in the little school uniforms, and they'd be upstairs when I was starting this voiceover thing first, and we'd have a laugh and we'd look at videos. I distinctly remember I used to let them watch the Sex Pistols interview, the Notorious one. Do you remember when they cut loose with the language and everything? My wife wouldn't agree with it, but it's very funny if you do look at it. The guy, Bill Grundy, was that his name? That classic interview. But another one we used to do was we play Breaking the Law, and they'd be air guitaring. So it was amazing to see. I'm thinking of her, I'm playing her vinyl, I'm about to send her a video, and she gazumps me by sending one of her listening to Breaking the Law. She's obviously remembering the old days. But she's a New York City girl these days. I've kind of lost her, and she's basically said to me, Ireland's too small, and if she has to leave New York, London is next. So what can you do? You can only do your best. So, here's one that you guys probably don't really worry about, but you know, you might be interested to know that at least half the population of America, A, they're obese, and B, they are diabetic or pre-diabetic. I consider myself at times pre-diabetic, which means you're diabetic, kind of. But I do watch. Nobody insisted I do this medically, but I bought a little blood sugar level monitor. Now, if I was to stop you now and take your blood sugar level, generally most people are in around 7. When it starts going after 8, it can get dangerous. A lot of mornings recently, the odd time I'm 7 in the morning. This is after a fast, you should take it. So after sleep, you should take your reading. And occasionally I get the Holy Grail, which is like 5.4. 5.5, 5.6 is considered very normal. My goal is to get up in the mornings and have at least a 5.5. These days it can be 6, 5.8, 6, 6.2. The odd time after a few gallons of wine, 7. I've had it as bad as 11. But that's very, very rare. I don't know if I've lost a lot of you now, but who cares? You're not going to be seeing me for at least another month or 2. Drink more water. That's a classic. Drink more water. Now, whether it's the tap stuff, I don't know, with all the fluoride, whatever. But yeah, if I'm going to drink anything rather than this fucking coffee. By the way, if you can get green tea, it's really good. Here's a real nice one. You know the kind of albus oil you can get, or some kind of a nice tea tree oil or something? I'm going to go and I'm going to get some of that stuff, and I'm going to put a dab or 2 of it on my pillow at night. Something nice. And I have to look at my whole sleeping as well, because I put on iPod podcasts some nights, and it's one thing if they're positive, but sometimes I'm listening and the world's going to end, and I'm fighting Putin and Putin's fighting me, or all this stuff I've told you about before, and it's not good. And I have, oh God almighty, I had a fucking nightmare last night. I'm not joking, it was medieval. Awful. And I woke up at 3 in the morning. Went for a piss, too much information. But I went, oh God, do I want to go back to bed? Because I have a habit of continuing on dreams where I left off. Anyway, I didn't repeat it, but it was bad. It's so bad I can't remember it. Will we have a break for ads? I'll tell you this story now. When I turned 50, oh God, the years are flying. When I turned 56, I recorded all my dreams because of the equipment here. I might have told you this before, those of you who are suckers for punishment and have been watching some of these podcasts. But for a whole year, I recorded all the mad stuff. And I found patterns within my dream over a year. What's bugging me now is that was, 5 years ago? Jeepers. It seems like only the other day. And I recorded them all, and I was going to put them in an audio book. And my daughter said, "Who wants to hear your stupid dreams, Dad?" And she did have a point. Or both of them had a point. But my friend Stephen, who was over last night, Steve and I know each other for years. Steve was trying to help me with my PC one day. So I'm doing this because I want to see if it's freezing up again. It's doing okay. And he hit a button and everything got deleted, and Steve's IT, but he just couldn't recover this. All my dreams, age 56, perished in one fell swoop. Okay, we're back on track here. Cut out junk food. Not really a junk fooder, but yeah, I can binge on crisps and stuff if the opportunity arises. Now, there's two books. I'm not going to show you them because I couldn't be arsed. They're in there. And they were given to me probably well over a year ago now, 18 months. One of them is, you'll have heard of these if you're on the scene at all, Atomic Habits. And Atomic Habits is about how small little habits over a consistent period of time can really lead to change. So some of these things I'm talking about, if I'm doing them every day, they're going to have to benefit me just incrementally. So Atomic Habits, one of the things about that was to combine things. And an example of that would be go for the walk, but listen to a positive podcast at the same time. Or put leg weights on you, go for the walk, you're working out you don't want to know, do you? But the other one, which I haven't looked at all, is called, I think it's Deep Work. And it follows, especially if you're putting off stuff. It follows the whole premise of just locking yourself in for maybe an hour to 90 minutes. Just do whatever the goddamn thing has to be done. Put the blinkers on. Don't let anything get to you. So I think it's called Deep Work. Deep something anyway. So I'm going to study though. I'm going to become a freaking graduate of those two books. Now, all my research shows that for health, if you can get on a largely plant-based diet, it ain't a bad thing, particularly in the area of inflammation. It's a matter of making them tasty, I guess. Sometimes if you want to get healthy, taste isn't an option. But, you can have some nice mushrooms or tomato. Each to their own. Green, anyway. Smoothies as well. I've got a super smoothie maker. I haven't used it in months, anyway. And then, I can't make out my own writing. What have I got here? Don't worry, this is going to end. Oh, yeah, on the 21st of May, this is a new start for me, but on the 21st of May, I was at home and I had consumed the guts of a bottle of wine. My wife was away and I took a selfie at the time. It's not a lot different than probably it would be now. But I remember thinking, God, there's got to be more. And the first part of the operation, if you like, was happy wife, happy life. And I just thought, look, if nothing else, while I'm getting my own act together here, whatever the boss says goes. And that's doesn't mean I'm surrendering my masculinity or anything. In fact, if anything, I'm employing it. I want to see the world. If she's got stuff she wants done in the house, or she wants to go for a walk, or whatever, it's not too much, especially with somebody who's been by my side for 29 years. We know not the day nor the hour, as I saw earlier, as I saw in the last few months. And she's my buddy. She's my best pal, my partner in life. She wouldn't even like me saying any of this stuff on camera. But I think she will agree there has been a big improvement in my behaviour. And one of the things we do, and it might sound very egg-headed, we sit down with diaries and have done, certainly for the last month, once a week. And we just go through stuff, whether it be what I do in terms of work, because she was a project manager in her time, so she's a business person. So she gives me little nudges here and there as to keep going, or what I've been procrastinating. But more importantly, the house is a joint partnership, and the car might need to get serviced. Where am I going to get the money for that? As I did recently with audiobooks. There you go. That'll take care of that. So it's about being in harmony, and you could say, oh God, that's very soppy, but no, do you know what? For an easy life, for a streamlined, jet-streamed life, communicate with each other. Is there anything worse than some fucker who goes upstairs, locks himself away with his computer, pulls his plum to a froth, whatever, sits around like a frickin' ghost in, and like, it works both ways. You can, yeah, you really do need to go away for a month. I bet you're saying that to yourself, and I totally agree. I shall hopefully see you guys in the early part of August. If I don't, I'm off to New York in September. I might see you then. But we'll aim for early August, okay? Month's time, August the 2nd, August the 3rd, thereabouts. August the 1st, who knows? You get notified, by the way, if you like and subscribe. You'll get a little heads up saying, Jesus, he's back in town, that boring git. Take care, because I care. Everybody have fun tonight. Everybody wang chung tonight. I won't even leave you with any of my cheesy 80s music. You won't? Yeah, I'll see you down the road.